Threads of Continuity, Zoroastrian Life and Culture is an exhibition which was held at Indira Gandhi National Centre for the Arts, New Delhi. Threads of Continuity explores the cultural history of Zoroastrianism, taking the visitors on a journey from the earliest days of the religion till the modern diaspora. The exhibition traces the evolution of Zoroastrianism from its origin, its history, its religious practices to its arrival and prosperity in India. The idea behind this exhibition was to showcase Zoroastrianism as a living culture. The objects which are showcased in the exhibition are an effort of 8 years of research and collection. This 2-month-long exhibition was a collaborative effort by the Ministry of Minority Affairs, Ministry of Culture, UNESCO Parzor Foundation, and Indira Gandhi National Centre for the Arts.
I think initially we looked at it as an IGNCA oriented program for IGNCA with, together with Parzor Foundation. It opened up this big when it became an international program sponsored by the Ministry of Minority Affairs. So National Museum also came in and NGMA also came in. But this exhibition, this Threads of Continuity or this Everlasting Flame, I think this is the most important component of these 3 exhibitions. Not only because the other 2 exhibitions had been held earlier and been seen by people, but this is something that touched the community and connected the community with the visitors who came, who were not Parsis.
Threads of Continuity was curated by Dr. Shehnaz Kama with assistance from Dadi Padamji, Ashdeen Lilowala and Kritika Mudgal. The exhibition was designed by Neeraj Sahai of Picture Street. The Threads of Continuity installation symbolizes the crisscrossing cultures and the melding of cultures in this exhibition.
The symbol over here is rather important. It is the kasti, the circular kasti tied in the reef knot at the word Shautenanam, which means to act or to work. The flame obviously is the symbol of Zoroastrianism, but the circle also represents the sun, the giver of all life.
The exhibition had 11 sections, the first being the introduction. The visitors were welcomed to the exhibition by a Pire Chak Chak installation, which has the traditional Iranian way of respecting and adoration of the fire. At the background of the installation was a life-size image of the Naqsh-e-Rustam.
What it shows essentially is 2 separate periods of history. The upper part shows the Astodans or ossuaries of the Achaemenians, that is 3rd to 5th century BC, and you're looking at Darius, Artaxerxes, etc. What is interesting is that below these very high mountains, you have a Sasanian set of friezes. This is the frieze of the Roman Emperor Valerian bowing before Shapur after his defeat at the Battle of Edessa. These rock carvings were the precursors to the rock carvings which we later see in Buddhist art, as well as then of course in Indian art and across China. So that is why these are very important historically as the first major rock carvings in history.
This section ended by showcasing the demographics of Zoroastrianism today. The exhibition showed an image from the early 90s where the visitors could see a Parsi family which had a relatively larger family size than what can be seen today. This leading to a map depicting the demographic decline of the Zoroastrians today. The second section highlighted the birth of the religion.
We started off with the cold desert of Iran, where Zarathustra was born, and we took people through to show, through this cold desert, to show how the Gathas, the songs of Zarathustra, were created. They speak about the wonders that he saw in the world, and they also speak about the importance of nature. This is something which runs as a theme throughout Zoroastrian culture and religion, as well as philosophy.
The story of Zarathustra was told using installation made by fiberglass.
During the course of the research for this exhibition, we discovered completely by serendipity 1001 names of Aura Mazda in a tiny little book, and Pune artist Perin Padamji recreated it for our exhibition.
To symbolize creation and the core significance of the 72 threads of white lamb's wool, a Tree of Life installation was created.
This Tree of Life is made out of the 72 threads of kasti wool, white lamb's wool, which creates the kasti. Every single thread which is woven together has a symbolic meaning, which is why we created this Tree of Life with this hollow tube, and it goes into many divisions, as you can see. Just as the kasti, when it is woven, each division, each single thread has a symbolic meaning. Similarly, this Tree of Life comes together to give us the symbolic meaning of Zoroastrianism.
The birth of the religion section ended with the installation of the Amisha Spentar.
These 7 masks represent the 7 spentas, which are like they can be considered as elements, as angels, and they are all based on nature. One is talking about fire, one is talking about water, one is talking about good thoughts and all. So there are 7 of them, and these installations, these mass installation have been created by Dadi Padamji.
The third section showcased the ritual practices of Zoroastrianism. This section began with the vases of Muqtad.
Every year during the 10 days of the Muqtad, when the Fravashis are believed to visit the earth, in an Agyari you will find this setting. You have an individual marble top table for each family, and each vase has a member of the family's name written on it. You have fresh flowers every day and coconut, and of course we have the shyav or the sadra material kept over here. It is believed that for 10 days and nights the Fravashis are with us, and on the last day, which is the day when the new year dawns, they depart. We welcome them with flowers, with food and with the shyav, and we bid them farewell, promising to welcome them again the next year. A Zoroastrian fire temple or Agyari from the Gujarati Aag Ka Ghar has always fascinated people because it is something which non-Zoroastrians are not permitted into. Essentially, this part, what we have depicted, is the Qibla, where only the priest enters. There the fire is enthroned. It is not just placed, it is specifically placed in a way, and on top of which the sandalwood and the other loban offerings are made. When we came to India, one of our promises to Jadi Rana was to put away our arms. Therefore, all fire temples contain arms. The older Agyaris and Atasperams have very ancient arms. We have bells in the fire temple which ring the watches of the day, which are called ghaz or gaze. Each fire temple at the Qibla entrance has a silver toran. You will notice that all the implements are made of silver because silver is regarded as a holy metal in this tradition. Once the fire burns, the priest is standing before it making offerings. His mouth is covered by a white padan. The padan prevents any sort of pollution from falling onto the fire as he prays.
Just opposite of the fire temple installation, 2 important ceremonies were depicted: the Yasna and the Jashan ceremony. Yasna is a priestly act of worship on behalf of the whole community, which is performed by 2 qualified priests who recites 72 chapters of the Avasthan Yasna prayer in a special part of a Zartusti temple called Dare Mihir, or Court of the Lord of Ritual. By establishing an area of purity and righteousness, the priest touches the bundle of metal wires of Barsam. By doing so, the priest openly chooses the side of Asha, the path of righteousness. The sacred fire in the Yasna ceremony exemplifies the cosmic principle of Asha Vahista, that is, right order. At the end of the ceremony, the priest carries the energized and purified water back to its original source. This is symbolic in terms of pure and energized mind. Each auspicious occasion is accompanied by a jashan, and this ceremony too reaffirms a bond between man and creation in a sacred space. This ceremony, unlike the Yasna, is a community celebration where the whole community bonds together and is spiritually strengthened. From the Yasna and the Jashan ceremony, the exhibition moves to the fourth section, the historical regions of Iran.
What we see here are the rock inscriptions at Hamadan. One is by Xerxes, the other is by Darius I. These are in cuneiform, but they reflect the three languages of the empire at that time, Babylonian, Elamite and Neo-Babylonian. What is interesting about these rock carvings is that they reflect a belief in the philosophy of Ahura Mazda. They talk about a great god is Ahura Mazda and how they follow the path of truth. They also talk about how Darius says, I am a person who will not allow the strong man to harass the weak, nor will I allow a weak man to harass the strong. When Cyrus died, this tomb was obviously much more beautifully decorated. It was desecrated by Alexander's soldiers, and after which Alexander, it is said, wept, and he had the complete chamber sealed up. At the top of this tomb, which doesn't exist any longer, was an inscription according to Plutarch and Arrian. It said, I am Cyrus, I created the empire of the Persians, spare this little earth that covers my body. And yet Alexander, the next great conqueror, discovered that the world does not even spare a few feet of earth. It is that which led Adil Reiter to create this very small tomb, and the idea of it, which is far more important, of wanting to be remembered, is what he has captured in this plate, which he has recreated from the inscription, which has now unfortunately disappeared. The Cyrus cylinder was buried deep in Babylon, and it is important to note that the Hamadan and the Naqe Rustam inscriptions, the Darius and Cyrus inscriptions all over the country were either on very high hilltops or were buried deep into the foundations of the buildings. The Cyrus cylinder, there is controversy today about it. However, you can look at it as the first Bill of Human Rights, because essentially it provides freedom of religion to every person in the empire. There is no enforcement of a single rule, a single law, or a single religion. Each person is free to choose. In this again, we are seeing a very Zoroastrian approach to life. As we move to what remains today in Yazd, this is Mehbud in Yazd, this is the Kabutar Khana or the pigeon towers of Yazd. As you can see, over 4,000 pigeons can be found taking rest in this very hot desert. There is water available for them, there is food kept for them, and this exists even today. So even when the religion died out, its environmental practices continued, as we see over here. The next important feature of environmental practices are the Badgirs. The Persians are known for their systems of science, medicine and water harvesting. The Persian wheel is a Persian invention. This is a very interesting architectural creation because it is built on a Persian invention, which is the squinch. The squinch is a square or a rectangular a body on which you have a dome, and this is what later led to all the great mosques of Central Asia and the Middle East having these domes. This Badgir is where you have water underneath, and where the water collected comes up in a very simple pulley system to cool the air all around. So, if you have this type of water system, it cools the entire village and makes life bearable.
Through the next episode, we will take you to a journey through Iran, exploring in-depth linkages of culture, environment and lifestyles.